Okay, this tutorial is about colorizing a black and white image. So here we have our black and white image, and the first thing I want to go over with you are the selection tools, because we're going to select an area of the image and then we're going to colorize it either using a paintbrush or a paint bucket tool. We're going to create a layer for each color. Here I have the brick wall, the sky, the door, the truck, and the sidewalk. And so each area we may use a different selection tool depending on what we need. So we'll just start off at the top here. If you hover over the toolbar, it'll give you a description of what that tool name is. So the top one is the elliptical marquee. If you hold the mouse button down, you've got the rectangular marquee. So those are just shape selection tools, which we won't be using that for this image. The next one is the lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, and the magnetic lasso tool. So if you just select the lasso tool, it'll allow you to basically draw around your object, loosely draw around it. And if you take a look at, we're going to jump down to the magnetic lasso tool. It's basically a magnet, so it'll stick to the edge of the object you're selecting. So you can see it's kind of following along the edge. Alright, next I'm going to jump down to, there are two. There's the magic wand tool and the quick selection tool. I'll start with the magic wand tool. The magic wand tool works with basically the similar toned pixels. So for example, it'll work probably pretty well on the sidewalk because it's all pretty much the same tone. So let's try it. If I click here, voila, that was a good one. See how it went all the way around and just selected that tone. I can see a little artifacts here. If we want to grab those to clean that up, what we can do is grab the lasso tool, and we can hold down the shift key, which adds an area. You see the little plus sign, and I can just sort of lasso around that and lasso here and there and just grab these little bits. Lasso them around. So okay, so we got that. Next, once we select an area, we want to make a new layer. So we go up to here, we go layer, new, or if we want to use this in the layer panel, we can go here and then choose new layer. You can also use the shortcut keys Shift, Command, N. So I'll pick the new layer. Click, oh, and we want to name it. We want to name it the sidewalk. You want to keep your layers organized so that you know what they are. Okay, so we start with the sidewalk, and I want to give it like a warm color. So I'd like to select yellow. So I'm going to go over to the color palette, color picker palette, and click on in the yellow area, and then maybe select something like there, and then click OK. And the easiest tool to fill this area would be the paint bucket tool. So I select the paint bucket tool, and then I click in the sidewalk area. So there's our bright yellow. Now, in order to blend it in, we're going to come over to the layer window, and we're going to the blending modes. These are the blending modes. Starts with normal, dissolve, darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, darker color, lighten, screen, color dodge, linear dodge, lighter color. The next section starts with overlay, the next section difference, and then I'm interested in the last one. So we want to choose the next to the last selection, color. So now you can see through that, and you can see the detail of the sidewalk. It looks a little bit like the yellow brick road, and so I really want something more subtle. So I'm going to come over to opacity, and I'm going to bring that down. And as I do that, there we go, I just wanted to just sort of tint it. So once I'm happy with that, I move on to another area, so I deselect, which is Command D. Alright, so what should we do next? How about the car? The truck, whatever that, it's parked right there. I think the best selection tool, which we haven't gone over yet, would be not the spot healing brush tool, but okay, it's underneath the magic wand. It is called the quick selection tool. So I want to select the quick selection tool and then just kind of make sure I'm on the background layer and then just sort of go over the car. And then you can see, because the car, it's going with all the same density. This car's kind of dark and then the shadow's dark. So I don't want the sidewalk shadow here. So what I'm going to do is hold the Option key, which subtracts an area. So I'm going to just kind of come back over by the car and go around here. Whoop, and then that's too much. So we'll try again and add the rest of the car there, because I just want to put a little tint of color there. One more thing I'd like to subtract, if I can, is the window, because yeah, I just took away the window. Okay, so I think I'm going to color that green. So I'm going to come over to Layer, New Layer, name this the truck, click OK, go to my color picker, go to green. I want a dark green. That's a little too dark. I like that. Click OK, grab my paint bucket, fill the truck, come over to the blending modes, select color, take it down a little more with the opacity, bring down the opacity to 30 through 40%, something like that, maybe less. Sorry, I'm getting too picky here. Alright, 31%. Now, next I deselect that, and the next thing I want to tackle is the building. That's, in some ways I could use a rectangular marquee tool, but I think it may be the right tone where we could also use this quick selection tool again. I keep mistaking it for the spot healing brush. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of go over the building. Guess what? Gotta make sure that I'm on the background layer. Alright, here we go again. Let's start on this side. There we go. And then maybe we can come down and across. And here. Oh, went into the sky. Let's try this again. I'm going to start over in this area here. I'm going to do this part first. I'm going to subtract the ground here. And add this back. You hear the trains in the background there. They're a little noisy today. Alright, I'm going to subtract this doorway here. We don't want that in our brick wall. Well, it's brick and it's also, it's actually a different kind of brick, but just for continuity, I'm just going to keep it the same color. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the section first, and I think I'm going to use a brick red color. So first I want to make a new layer and call it the building. And next, grab the color picker And the red color, maybe go, no, brick color, I don't know, brick color would be more like that, maybe? Okay. And then grab the paint bucket and then fill this in. Come over to color and really bring down the opacity. Yeah, maybe only like 7%. I'm not sure about this, but you get the idea, I think. Let's just jump over to the sky now, and so I can show you. Let's use the magic wand again. I think that might work for us. Let's try click in the sky. Make sure you're on the background layer. Deselect, Command D. Yeah. What you can do with the magic wand is you can change the tolerance to make it more selective or less selective. And so let me just make this 15 and see if that helps my, yeah, that did. So it's not going into the cloud. And then I'm going to hold the shift key to try to get the rest of this here. Oh, it did it again. All right. You know, trial and error, that would be my advice with these situations. Let's try this. That's better. Let's see. Here. So again, I can go with the lasso tool, and I can hold the shift key and I can kind of add areas that didn't get selected. People don't believe me how loud that train is. I was thinking about making some music out of that, recording that screeching sound. Alright, so here I am grabbing these little pieces here to include it in our selection. Alright, next, one more. I know this can be tedious work. Alright, that's pretty good. So now, right there, it's kind of, you're going to notice that it's not coming close enough to the cloud. So let me try something here. Let's see if this works. I'm going to go to select. I'm going to choose expand. So you can expand your selection by a few pixels. Let's try this. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we'll try it. Well, I didn't see a big difference. Transform selection. It's probably not going to help us either. Another thing, advice to give that would help us is if we zoom in so we can actually see what we're working with here. And then maybe I could just use the shift key again with the magic wand and hold the shift key so it'll add this. Yeah, that worked. Very good. Okay, so next what I want to do is fill the sky with blue. So I make a new layer and call it the sky or sky, and then we go over to the color picker and we look for a nice sky blue. Looks good. Click OK. Grab right now for this work. The paint can has really been working out okay. You could also use a paintbrush if you have finer areas, but for this I can use my paint bucket. Okay, and then we come over here to the blending modes. We choose color, and then I'll go into opacity and bring it down like a pale blue. All right, maybe just a little more. Okay, So now I hit Command D, deselect. So I think you probably get the idea of how to use layers and color blending mode and the paint bucket opacity to give that sort of hand-toned color. I'll just turn on, let's see, what else do we have? I did a better job with the door in the building. So if I could just show you, I'll turn on the brick and I'll turn off the building one that I did. And I think that looks a little better. I would probably bring the opacity down on that too. So there you have it. The coloring a black and white image with Photoshop.